guys, Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the brand new Adidas Gloro 16.1 in the white and black, as well as the black and white colorways. Now inside the box for both shoes, I'm only showing you the white and black ones. All you get are the shoes themselves. They do not come with any extras. So let me get these guys out of the box really quickly, and we'll take a closer look at the two different colorways of the Gloro 16.1 that I have here, the white and black, as well as the black and white. So they're essentially just opposites of each other. So I figured I'd put them in the same single video. So in today's video, what we're going to be doing is, of course, talking about the colorways individually. We're going to take a closer look at the tech specs, the performance features that you should know about in regards to the 16.1. We're going to take a look at the weight of the shoe, as well as talk about how these things fit and feel on feet. So if you are interested in learning more about the Gloro 16.1, please stick around and watch the entire video. If you're interested in a pair of these for yourself, be sure to check out the review page on my website. That'll be the very first link down below in the description of this video. On that page, you'll find Buy It Now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, where you'll be able to pick these guys up below their normal $110 retail price in all the currently available colorways. So again, if you're interested in a pair, first link down below, go ahead and check it out. And with that being said, let's get right into the review. To start things off, let's take a closer look at the colorways, as well as talk about the general aesthetics of the Gloro 16.1. Now, design-wise, these shoes are very simple looking. You have minimal stitching on the upper, soft leather at the front, but obviously the leather grain continues across the entire shoe, laces down the middle, pretty much a solid black or solid white sole plate, depending on which colorway you went for. And of course, you're gonna find your Adidas logo on the tongue with 3 Adidas stripes on both the lateral and medial side of the midfoot. So very clean styling that I think is pretty hard not to like. I think that these are both very, very good looking shoes. As far as colorways go, very straightforward. This is a black upper with a black sole plate that has clear studs. You can see you have a bit of a silver to black fade here from heel to forefoot on the side of the sole plate. You have the Gloro embossed in black right there on the heel, as well as your leather stamp. And then of course you have the white Adidas branding on the tongue and in the stripes on either side with white embroidery that looks just very, very clean and pretty high quality for the $110 price tag they ask for the Gloro 16.1. The other colorway is essentially the opposite, all white on the upper. It's got more of a clear sole plate that's obviously white underneath, translucent studs, and then of course black Adidas logo on the tongue and black Adidas stripes with the black embroidery that again looks really, really good. For me, I prefer the look of the white on black as opposed to the black on white, just because I really like bright white shoes. With that being said, these are gonna be much more difficult to keep clean versus the black and white ones. So it really is a matter of taking your pick and how dedicated you wanna be to cleaning these things. Even if you do clean an all white shoe like this, very, very often, it's still going to be prone to staining. It's still going to yellow or even get green grass stains, especially on the sole plate with all of this texturing. It's just going to be one of those shoes that's going to be pretty much a nightmare if you want to keep them as clean as possible. So again, if you don't mind cleaning them all the time, white and black I think is the way to go. Whereas if you want something that's a little bit more old school, a little bit less flashy, you could argue, the black and white looks very, very good too. It's just a matter of personal preference. So let me know your thoughts on these two colorways down below in the comment section. Would you go black and white, or would you go white and black? Let me know, and with that being said, let's move on to the tech specs so we can learn a little bit more about the overall performance. As far as tech specs go, for the $110 asking price, the Gloro 16.1 is a pretty good value. Again, and I mentioned this in my previous Gloro video, I would really recommend taking a good look at the Nike Premier as well if you were considering the Gloro 16.1, because that shoe has a lot to offer and there will be a comparison video coming very soon, so stay tuned for that. But talking specifically about the Gloro 16.1, it's a pretty decent pick. As far as what you're getting, the upper is partially made from kangaroo leather, but mostly made from synthetic, which is a bit of a bummer, but kind of expected at this particular price point. The leather spans from this seam right here forward all the way through the forefoot and toe box area, and then cuts off at pretty much the exact same point here on the lateral side. So this front part is a very nice quality kangaroo leather. It's fairly thick and has a nice padded feel to it as well. So if you want a nice padded sensation. That's kind of what this shoe is going to provide. From the leather back, including the tongue, the shoe is made from a synthetic leather material that's a lot better than the previous Gloro, but certainly not up to the same kind of softness as what you're going to find from the actual leather at the front of the shoe. What it does do well is it matches the thickness pretty decent, so you get a fairly consistent thickness across the entire foot, although the tongue, I would argue, feels a little bit cheap. But again, it's hard to beat the feel of all over leather, and if you're looking for that all over leather feel, the Nike Premier does that a little bit better. And if you want to stick with an Adidas shoe, the Ace 15.1 in kangaroo leather, or even the Adidas Copa Mondial are really solid options as well, even though they do cost a little bit more than the Gloro 16.1. Laces run through the middle, as you guys can see. The tongue, like I mentioned, is a synthetic material, and it's just done in a strange way, especially at the top here. They kind of have the materials curling around, and it just makes for a lot of extra kind of unnecessary bulk, in my opinion, which I'm not too happy about, but it's not a deal breaker in my opinion. It really depends on what you're looking for, I suppose. But again, if you don't like shoes that feel overly padded or overly bulky, maybe not the best option for you. The heel area has a fairly standard cut internal plastic heel counter, so nothing too crazy there. The heel liner is a smooth perforated leather material or synthetic leather with decent padding, so step-in comfort is not going to be an issue. For whatever reason, the insole is pink on both of these two shoes, and it's actually glued in place. It's not glued in like very firmly, so you could technically pull it out if you wanted to, but as you guys can see, it's just a single layer of foam with a mesh liner on top, so nothing too fancy. You kind of expect a removable insole at this particular price point, but Adidas hasn't given it to us. Again, not necessarily a deal breaker, just a small little thing that I thought I would nitpick. As far as the sole plate is concerned, this is a major improvement over the original Gloro in my opinion. It's made from a TPU plastic material that's relatively flexible, especially through the forefoot area, and then it features kind of an 11 Pro 1 style stud pattern. Now the studs are all conical in shape, a little bit longer than what we got on the previous Gloro model, and fairly aggressive in terms of their narrow profile and just longer length in general. So despite them being very traditional looking, they dig into the ground quite nicely and provide pretty good bite for conical studs, while still maintaining a good amount of maneuverability as well. So the overall performance as far as traction is concerned on firm natural grass is actually very, very good. The one thing to keep in mind with the Gloro 16.1 though, and the Gloro line in general, is that this is a firm ground only stud pattern, not an FGAG stud pattern like you're gonna find from the X Ace and Messi line. So if you do buy these, they're not made for use on artificial grass at all. They're strictly designed for use on firm natural grass playing surfaces, not AG. So again, just to be 100% clear, this is not an FGAG stud pattern, it's strictly firm ground. So that's pretty much it in terms of tech specs and performance features. It's a pretty straightforward, pretty simple shoe, as you guys can see by the design, but if that's what you're looking for, the Gloro 16.1 is definitely a pretty solid option. As far as weight is concerned, the Gloro 16.1 is relatively light. So I'm gonna weigh this pair for you today in real time using this scale. Keep in mind this is a brand new pair in a size 9 US. Going to throw it on the scale, and you can see that they weigh in at 8.5 ounces, the equivalent of 241 grams. So as far as weight goes for a soccer shoe, obviously it's not the lightest shoe money can buy, but it's still relatively lightweight. That's about the same weight range that a pair of Nike Tiempo Legend 6s in the same size falls into. A little bit lighter than the Adidas Ace line, and not too far off from the Adidas X line, even the top end models. So again, as far as weight goes, they're not going to feel overly light on your feet. But if you want a shoe that has a soft padded leather upper that isn't necessarily going to feel heavy either, the Gloro 16.1 is a pretty solid option. All right, so here is a look at the Gloro 16.1s on feet. On my right foot, on the black pair, I just have the stock black laces, whereas on my left foot, the white pair, I have a pair of white and black grid pattern SR4U replacement laces. If you're interested in a pair of replacement laces for yourself, the website to go to is www.sr4ulaces.com. You'll find a direct link to that website down below in the description of this video. Now, in terms of how these things fit and feel on feet, they're very comfortable shoes from right out of the box. The leather at the front of the shoe is super soft, very padded, nice and flexible as well. The synthetic in the midfoot is not quite as soft, but it certainly doesn't feel uncomfortable by any means. And really, the break-in process with this particular shoe is pretty straightforward. You're unlikely to have really any major issues at all. Of course, because it is a leather shoe, the actual kangaroo leather in the forefoot and toe box area is going to stretch and expand and soften up a fair amount. So if they feel a little bit snug at first in that forefoot area, don't worry, because like I said, it will expand on you. Whereas the midfoot area, because it is made from synthetic, really isn't going to stretch much at all. So that part of the shoe will maintain its shape throughout the entire lifespan of the shoes themselves. So again, just keep that in mind, but overall, these should be suitable for most people and most foot types. As far as sizing is concerned, I'm wearing my usual size 9 US here, and the fit and length is absolutely perfect. So if you are looking to order a pair of these for yourself, I would strongly recommend going true to size in order to achieve the best possible fit. The flexibility of the sole plate is really good, and overall, they're pretty comfortable shoes. There's really nothing to complain about other than the tongue, which, like I said, is a little bit clunky at the top in terms of how the construction is. And again, it just makes for a lot of unnecessary bulk towards the top of your foot that I'm personally not a huge fan of, but ultimately you will get used to and doesn't really have any kind of significant impact on the performance of the shoe. All right, guys, that is it for my review of the white and black variations of the new Adidas Gloro 16.1. If you guys are interested in a pair of these for yourself, be sure to check out the review page on my website. That'll be the very first link down below in the description of this video. On that page, you'll find high quality images of this exact pair that I took myself. That'll give you a better idea as to how these actually do look in person, as well as buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, where you'll be able to pick these guys up below their normal $110 retail price. So again, if you're interested in a pair, first link down below, go ahead and check it out. If you have any questions about the Gloro 16.1, leave them down below in the comments and I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information linked in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching.